Across America's biggest cities, police departments are facing a crisis, a mass exodus of officers that began in 2020 and shows no sign of stopping. Officers are leaving mid-career citing lack of support, relentless scrutiny, and a political climate that's eroded morale and made the job feel impossible. The result? A thinning blue line stretched to its limits, and a growing debate about the future of public safety in our cities. The numbers are staggering. Across the United States, some of the nation's largest cities are facing a crisis in law enforcement staffing that is unprecedented in recent history. Departments that once seemed unshakable are now struggling to keep up with the demands of their communities. Chicago lost over 1,500 officers in 5 years, dropping from over 13,000 to just above 11,600. This sharp decline has left neighborhoods with fewer patrols and has made it harder for the city to respond quickly to emergencies. The loss is felt not just in numbers, but in the daily lives of residents and officers alike. New York City's force is down by nearly 2,500 since 2019, despite new recruits joining the ranks. The city's police department, once the largest in the country, is now struggling to fill shifts and cover the vast urban landscape. Officers are being asked to do more with less, and the pressure is mounting. Los Angeles has lost more than 1,100 officers since 2020, straining a department already stretched thin. The city's sprawling geography makes it even more challenging to maintain a visible police presence, and residents are noticing the difference. Baltimore's force shrank by 20% in 4 years, falling below 2,000 officers. This dramatic reduction has left entire neighborhoods underserved, and the department is struggling to recruit and retain new talent. These losses mean fewer patrols, larger coverage areas, and more burnout for those who remain. Officers are working longer hours, often with little backup, leading to exhaustion and increased stress on the job. Departments are losing not just numbers but decades of experience and leadership. As veteran officers retire or leave for other opportunities, their knowledge and mentorship disappear, making it harder for new recruits to learn the ropes. The public feels the impact: slower response times, less visible policing, and rising anxiety about safety. Communities are left wondering who will answer the call when help is needed, and what the future holds for public safety in America's biggest cities. Many officers say they're leaving because they feel abandoned by city leaders and vilified in the public eye. The job's risks, physical and psychological, are compounded by a sense of being second-guessed and unsupported. Officers are moving to smaller towns or suburbs, seeking communities where they feel valued. This brain drain leaves big cities with fewer experienced officers just when they're needed most. For many, the personal toll on themselves and their families finally outweighs the call to serve. As experienced officers retire or leave the force, police departments across the country are facing an unprecedented challenge. The pipeline of new recruits is drying up, and the struggle to attract fresh talent is more intense than ever before. Public scrutiny, political tension, and the very real dangers of the job are discouraging many young people from considering a career in law enforcement. Even with enticing incentives like six-figure signing bonuses, departments are finding it difficult to fill their ranks. The job, once seen as a stable and respected profession, now comes with a heavy burden and constant public attention. Police academies are struggling to fill their classes, with many seats remaining empty year after year. As seasoned officers walk out the door, departments are losing not just manpower, but decades of institutional knowledge and experience that can't be easily replaced. In response, some cities are lowering hiring standards just to fill vacancies, hoping to keep patrols on the street. But this approach comes with its own risks, potentially compromising the quality and preparedness of future officers, and raising concerns about the effectiveness of policing. This creates a dangerous cycle. Less experience leads to more mistakes, which in turn erodes public trust even further. Communities become more skeptical, and officers feel increasingly isolated and under pressure. Money alone can't fix a profession struggling with low morale and a damaged reputation. Departments are learning that financial incentives are only part of the solution. The real challenge is to rebuild trust, restore pride in the badge, and inspire a new generation to serve with integrity, compassion, and a commitment to effective, fair policing. Only then can the cycle be broken and the future of law enforcement secured. As local police departments face shrinking budgets and dwindling personnel, city leaders are grappling with how to keep their communities safe. With fewer officers on the streets and resources stretched thin, the challenge of maintaining public safety has never been greater. In response, some officials are now turning to a controversial solution: federal intervention. One of the most notable examples is the recent federalization of Washington, D.C.'s police force, where federal agencies have stepped in to support local law enforcement efforts. Supporters of this approach argue that federal oversight brings much-needed resources, advanced technology, and a renewed sense of focus to cities struggling with crime and unrest. They point to early signs of progress, such as initial drops in crime rates and improved coordination between agencies, as evidence that federal involvement can make a real difference. However, critics caution that relying too heavily on federal intervention could undermine local control, erode community trust, and impose a one-size-fits-all approach that may not address the unique needs of every neighborhood. Ultimately, experts agree that the real solution lies in fostering cooperation at every level, local, state, and federal, so that law enforcement can adapt to the challenges of today and tomorrow. Lasting change will require not only valuing and supporting officers, but also building genuine public trust through transparency, accountability, and open dialogue with the communities they serve. Recruiting and training a new generation of officers who reflect the diversity and values of their communities will be essential for shaping a new era of policing. The future of our cities depends on our ability to rebuild, reimagine, and strengthen American policing together.